point when you start in the spring or some point in the spring and the fall, you have to set some form of a depth chart in terms of reps. That's just the way it goes. And I said it the other day, the player, everybody's competing, but you're not guaranteed the same amount of reps. So it's up to the player to take advantage and maximize those reps, which I feel like Dylan has done. So we see as we move forward, if that continues, we'll continue to up his reps. I mean, he's earned that. That's what every player should expect, right? If they play well, you have to up their reps, or what's the purpose of playing well?
Who is your QB1 in your opinion?
I mean, is that even a question? Shedeur.
I think wrist up should be the quarterback, but probably is going to be 4 to start. However, we out here at camp, and this is where, jobs can, be took. And if Shedeur can capitalize on a couple of things, maybe he can take the job. But I think Shedeur should be the quarterback. I think 4 will probably be QB1.
Shedeur Sanders. I believe in young talent. I believe in talent that loves the city. I think we owe him a chance to show the love back.
Me personally, I really don't care who QB1 is. I just want good quarterback play. For the last few years, that's probably been the weakest position we didn't have. So whoever go out there, either 230 or number 2, I'm cool with it either way.
I think QB1 should be Shedeur because Shedeur just like that, Like, I think Shedeur just like the perfect fit for our team.
Feels like you and Shedeur have had some connections early in this camp. Where do you think, that connection, that chemistry comes from?
I think that just comes in trust. I believe I got trust with all the quarterbacks. We've been connecting a lot on a lot of different plays. But yeah, I think it just comes down to trust. It comes down to a mentality of that's my ball. I think that's what it comes down to. I do have that height advantage that I can abuse when I can, but at the same time, I think it comes down to a mentality of I'm gonna go get it. I don't have any doubts just because I come into everything I do very confident. I try to just be confident in everything I do.
Think that Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback in college football. If I was an NFL GM and I had a pick to where I needed a quarterback, he'd be the first quarterback taken in this year's draft.
I admire Shedeur from the standpoint that he's playing the position the way it's always been intended to play. Rhythm, timing, footwork, all matching up. And then you put on top of that the ability to extend plays looking to throw. He's not a runner first, but he is capable.
And so I have a lot of respect, and it's going to take our best. I have a lot of respect for him. I think the energy and notoriety and the juice that he's brought to that program, I think he's doing a great job. And I have a lot of respect for him.
And beware, because this guy's going to play in this.
I think Shedeur Sanders, I know you're paying Deshaun Watson a bunch of money, but you literally have nothing to lose. He can't do any worse.
I feel like it should be Shedeur. I've been following him for a while. He works hard, and you can tell his improvement since last year, all the things he's been through. He just channeled that, and he's putting all his all into it this year. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be him.
I think Shedeur Sanders should be the QB1 because I think he gives us a future and more to build off of rather than Deshaun Watson.
I think QB1 should be Shedeur because he got a lot going. Deshaun, he's already had his years and he hurt. It's like Shedeur up and coming, and he should be the next QB to show Deshaun.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's Shedeur Sanders. But before that, his stats are just better. He wins more games. He's a winner. Deion Sanders is a winner. So is his kid. It's Shedeur until we win the Super Bowl.
But extending plays and keeping his eyes downfield is pretty impressive.
Stepping in, taking hits as he's getting the ball out, and just like it's that's a whole NFL thing, right?
There is a moment in every quarterback competition where the narrative shifts, where the coaching staff's official depth chart starts telling one story and the practice field starts telling a completely different one, where the veteran's experience stops being enough to silence the younger player forcing his way into the conversation. Cleveland is living inside that moment right now, and the quarterback driving that shift is Shedeur Sanders. This is not about social media noise. This is not about his last name or the attention that follows his family. This is about what is happening every single time Shedeur steps into the huddle during Cleveland Browns training camp. It is about touchdowns versus completions. It is about finishing drives versus moving the chains. It is about a young quarterback who refuses to accept a quiet role and keeps making the biggest plays of the session regardless of where he sits on the unofficial depth chart. Let us be honest about something from the start. Quarterback competitions in the NFL are rarely clean. They are rarely purely meritocratic. Veterans with guaranteed contracts and organizational investment tend to receive more reps, more protection, more familiar targets, and more patience from the coaching staff. That is simply the reality of professional football. A young quarterback competing behind an established starter often has to clear a much higher bar just to be taken seriously. Shedeur Sanders has understood that reality and responded to it by raising his own performance to meet it. During one of the more competitive and closely watched practice sessions of camp, Shedeur finished the day with 8 completions on 16 attempts, 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. On the surface, the completion percentage might invite criticism, but context matters far more than raw numbers when evaluating a quarterback in a training camp environment. Some passes are designed to test tight windows, some are thrown away deliberately to avoid pressure. Some attempts are built around intermediate and deep routes that carry lower completion rates but higher rewards when they connect. The real story is not the ratio. The real story is the 2 touchdowns and the 0 turnovers. Those numbers do not happen by accident. They happen because a quarterback is making good decisions, reading the defense correctly, and delivering the football with enough accuracy and timing to move the offense into the end zone. Shedeur did both of those things. He produced points and he protected the football. That combination is the most fundamental measurement of quarterback value, and on this particular day, he led the competition in both categories. The comparison that matters most came in the form of the other quarterback in this battle, Deshaun Watson, who completed 13 of 25 passes without a touchdown and without an interception. Watson had more attempts and more completions. He also had first-team opportunities that Shedeur was not receiving. Yet Watson's day ended without a single scoring drive finished. Shedeur's day ended with 2. That difference should be impossible to ignore. In professional football, the ultimate standard is putting points on the board. An offense can look productive on paper and still fail the team if it cannot cross the goal line. Shedeur crossed it twice. Watson did not cross it once. When the final measure of a practice is which quarterback gave his unit the best chance to win, the answer on this day was not close. What makes this even more compelling is the situational football. During the 2-minute drill, arguably the most revealing portion of any training camp session, Shedeur operated with command and composure. The 2-minute drill strips away everything comfortable. The clock is running. The defense knows the offense must throw. Every decision has a consequence. There is no room for hesitation, no room for bad footwork, and no room for the kind of reckless throw that gives the defense a free possession. Quarterbacks who cannot handle this pressure tend to reveal themselves quickly. The eyes get wide, the feet stop moving, the ball comes out late or goes to the wrong spot. Shedeur did none of that. He moved the offense efficiently, stayed calm under the compressed timeline, and helped his unit finish the drive with a touchdown. That is not a small achievement. That is a major statement about where his mental game currently stands. What separates the quarterbacks who survive these competitions from those who fade is not just arm strength or athleticism. It is the ability to keep the offense organized, identify where the defense is vulnerable, and deliver the ball with timing and placement that makes the receiver's job easier. Shedeur has been showing growth in all of those areas. On his best throws during this session, he was not simply aiming at open receivers in wide-open coverage. He was delivering to spots that required timing and trust, throws where the ball had to arrive before the route fully opened, throws that demanded confidence in the connection between quarterback and target. That kind of execution requires both a strong process and a clear understanding of what the defense is giving. Shedeur showed both. His ball placement also deserves attention. When a quarterback consistently puts the football in the right location, receivers gain extra yards after the catch. They can keep running instead of stopping to adjust. They can avoid contact from defenders closing fast. Good placement is one of the less celebrated but most important skills a quarterback develops. It is the difference between a 5-yard completion and a 12-yard gain. It is the difference between a receiver taking a brutal hit and a receiver breaking into open space. Several of Shedeur's completions during this session showed that kind of precision, and that precision is not accidental. It reflects both preparation and growing comfort inside the Cleveland offensive system. There is also something important to address about how Shedeur is carrying himself throughout this process. Quarterback competitions can break a young player psychologically. When a veteran receives more reps, more recognition, and more of the organizational benefit of the doubt, it can create frustration that eventually shows up on the field. Players start pressing. They force throws in situations where patience would serve them better. They try to make the highlight play instead of making the right play. Shedeur has not fallen into that trap. He has maintained his composure and continued focusing on what he can control. He cannot control the rep distribution. He cannot control which offense he takes snaps with or which receivers he works alongside. But he can control his decision-making once the ball is in his hands. That is exactly where he has directed his energy, and the results are speaking clearly. Confidence is also part of this conversation. There is a version of quarterback confidence that becomes a liability, the player who believes so strongly in his arm that he throws into double coverage looking for the spectacular moment. Shedeur has shown a different kind of confidence. It is the confidence that allows a quarterback to trust the design of a play, accept the available throw, move the chains, and stay in position to attack when the bigger opportunity presents itself. That balance is genuinely difficult to find, and most young quarterbacks take years to develop it. Shedeur appears to be finding it during this camp, which should excite everyone watching the Browns' quarterback situation. Now let us talk about what the Browns have to confront organizationally. Training camp is framed as a competition, but not all competitions are created equal. When one player consistently receives more first-team reps, more experienced teammates, and more organizational trust simply because of his contract or his history, the competition starts functioning less like a fair evaluation and more like a formality. Cleveland cannot allow that to happen here. If the Browns truly believe this battle should be decided by performance, and that is what they have stated publicly, then strong performances have to generate meaningful consequences. More reps, more time with the first-team offense, more opportunity to prove whether this production translates across every level of the competition. Shedeur Sanders is earning those opportunities. He has protected the football across multiple practice sessions. He has shown the ability to execute when the field tightens in situational football. He has produced touchdowns. He has demonstrated patience in the pocket and the willingness to let routes develop before committing to a throw. These are starting quarterback qualities, and they have been on display consistently enough that calling them flukes requires more justification than the evidence supports. Head coach Kevin Stefanski has acknowledged that players who perform well earn additional opportunities. That acknowledgement must eventually result in action. There is no version of a legitimate competition where a quarterback continues to produce at the top of the group, but never receives the reps necessary to challenge the depth chart order. If Shedeur keeps delivering, the coaching staff will face a choice between rewarding performance and maintaining an organizational structure that may no longer reflect what is happening on the field. That tension is real, and it is growing. The players in the locker room notice these things. Receivers understand which quarterback makes their job easier. Offensive linemen pay attention to who stays calm under pressure and makes decisions quickly after protection breaks down. When a quarterback earns trust from the people playing beside him, his value to the team grows beyond whatever the depth chart says. Shedeur is in the early stages of building that kind of credibility. Every touchdown adds to it. Every clean decision in a pressure situation strengthens it, and that kind of internal belief, once established, becomes very difficult for a coaching staff to override. Preseason games will bring a completely different level of pressure. Live defenses operating at professional speed create situations that no practice format can fully replicate. The pass rush arrives faster. The coverage rotations are more disguised. Mistakes carry immediate consequences because the other team is actively trying to take the football away. Shedeur will have to prove himself in that environment too, but the purpose of training camp is to identify which players appear ready for those tests. And what Cleveland is seeing from Shedeur right now suggests he is not just ready to participate in a preseason game. He may be ready to use it as a platform to push this competition into an entirely new stage. None of this means the story is finished. Watson is a veteran with NFL starting experience and a significant organizational investment behind him. He has operated in high-pressure game situations at a level Shedeur has not yet reached professionally. Those factors carry weight inside a coaching staff's evaluation, but weight does not equal certainty. And in a competition that is supposed to be decided by performance, weight alone cannot override what the field is consistently producing. The field keeps producing Shedeur Sanders moments, touchdown moments, composure moments, 2-minute drive moments, moments that the reporters, the fans, and most importantly the players on the field all recognize as the work of a quarterback who belongs in this conversation at the highest level. At some point, Cleveland has to stop measuring potential and start measuring production. Potential is what people discuss before the results arrive. The results are arriving. They have been arriving with growing regularity across multiple sessions. 2 touchdowns and 0 turnovers is production. A successful 2-minute drill is production. Ball placement that creates yards after the catch is production. Competing at a high level while receiving fewer premium reps than the established starter is production. When all of these things happen together, the conversation has to evolve. The Browns have to evolve with it. And the fans who have been watching this competition unfold deserve to see that evolution happen in real time. This quarterback battle is not finished. There is more football to be played, more reps to evaluate, and more pressure situations where both players will have the opportunity to make their cases. But the direction of this competition is becoming clearer with each session. Shedeur Sanders is not just participating in this battle. He is winning moments inside it, building a case that grows stronger every time he steps under center and delivers when the offense needs him most. The Browns called this a competition. Shedeur is taking that seriously. Now it is time for the organization to take what he is producing just as seriously. That is going to do it for today's breakdown right here on Sports Zone USA. If you believe Shedeur Sanders is winning this quarterback battle and Cleveland needs to make a move, drop your take in the comments right now. We want to hear from you. Give this video a thumbs up if the production numbers made the argument for you. And if you are not already part of the Sports Zone USA family, hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications, because we are breaking down every major development in this Browns quarterback competition as it happens. The debate is just getting started, and we will be here for every single chapter of it.